Can you guys see and hear me?
Can hear you.
Can hear you.
They're working on the video.
Okay. Well, if we don't have video, that's fine.
Wait.
They were going to route it out here. I'll double check one more time.
Okay, ready to go. All right, good afternoon. I'd like to call the Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022 meeting of the Moorhead Public Service Commission to order. The Moorhead Public Service Commission welcomes and encourages customer input on issues listed on the agenda or of general water, electric, utility interest. Time and commission permitting. Speakers are limited to 3-minute presentations. Customers wishing to address the commission regarding a specific agenda item will be afforded an opportunity during the discussion of that item. Customers wishing to speak on matters not listed on the agenda will be given the opportunity to do so under the heading Customers to be Heard and Recognitions. Each person requesting the opportunity to speak is asked to fill out a request to speak form that's located on the counter at the very back of the room. In addition to Commissioners Daly, McDougall, Paulson, Hendrickson, and myself, Commissioner Heidi Duran will be participating in this meeting via interactive television from her address at 3625 22nd Avenue South in Moorhead, 56560, which location is open and accessible to the public during the meeting. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Daly, seconded by Hendrickson, to approve the meeting's agenda. Hendrickson?
Aye.
Paulson?
Aye.
Duran?
Aye.
McDougall?
Yes.
Daly?
Yes.
Okay. We have an agenda approved. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by McDougall, seconded by Paulson, to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Seeing none. Hendrickson?
Aye.
Paulson?
Aye.
Duran?
Yes.
McDougall?
Yes.
Daly? Thompson, yes. Customers to be heard under recognitions. Mr. Schmidt?
Nothing tonight.
No customers to be heard either. So moving on to item number 7, old business. Any old business that anybody wants to bring up? Seeing none, moving on to reports. City Council, Mr. Hendrickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Not too much. Agendas kind of tend to be light come election time. So, but tonight is Night to Unite, so a lot of neighborhood gatherings, and I'll be attending quite a few of them tonight. So, the sooner we can get out, the better. So, that's all I have.
Thank you. Public Service Commission? Nothing, I think. And General Manager's report, Mr. Schmidt.
Yep, just a couple items, too, that were on the agenda, and then I got one brief thing from late last week that came up as well, too. One item we have is the Missouri River Energy Services Ambassador Program. Again, this is the objective of this ambassador program is to raise awareness of public power and Missouri River values in its member communities. And policymaker education as well. So something we'll be working on here in the near future. If you would like to or know of somebody, a resident of Moorhead that would be a good ambassador for MPS, Missouri River, and APPA or public power, let me know and we can work on that and try to get everything signed up for that. So there's some value to it. We did include the pamphlet or the flyer in the agenda as well too. Secondly, we had a couple thank yous. We put those on the agenda as well, so you can look at those at your leisure. Last week, Missouri River staff and members of Missouri River had a virtual meeting with Senator Smith's staff regarding resource adequacy, concerns over greenhouse gas rules and the fluctuation that occurs at the state and federal level, and how that impacts the change in generation planning midstream based on election years and things like that too. So talked about that, transmission needs, the Schumer Manchin agreement, the Inflation Reduction Act. That's a big bill or a big act that's about 725 pages to deal with. So we're still working on that to find out everything that's in there. Again, talked about the Gregory County pump storage project as well with their staff, and then we talked about some municipal tax issues as well too. Again, there's a lot of things within that Manchin Schumer bill or act that has some benefit to public power or to the municipal utilities that investor owns had prior to that. So there's some value there. Again, they're looking through it, and more to come on that as well too. And then we'll be meeting with Representative Fischbach here in a few weeks as well too. So if you have some interest in attending, that's an actual in-person meeting. So please let me know. But that is all I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion to accept the general manager's report.
Second.
We have a motion by, was it McDougall? Oh, Hendrickson. Seconded by Daly to approve the general manager's report. Or accept the general manager's report. Excuse me. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, great. Thank you for the report, Mr. Schmidt. Item number 9, award bid for shunt reactors.
Sure. Matt's not available tonight, so I'll handle this one. This one's a little bit of a difficult one. We reopened bids on, when did we open bids here? A couple weeks ago, July 20th. With that, we received bids from 2 qualified bidders. The lowest bid price was $2.8 million and some change. That was above the engineer's estimate of $1.5 million. The discrepancy there, after talking with the consultant on staff, that pricing was from January of 2021, so that's about a year and a half out of date, and that's part of the reasoning behind the increase that we've seen because of supply chain issues. A lot of it comes down to labor and material costs as well too. So those are the big impacts that we've got. Again, this is the cost of this is recovered through that annual transmission revenue recapture that we have. So we will be refunded through that over a 10 to 15 year. It will increase our overall bond issuance when we go through that process. But that's kind of the gist of where we're at with it. We won't see these till I think June or July of 2024 at this point in time. I think it's also contingent upon recommendations contingent upon final legal review as well too. So John will be finalizing, reviewing the contracts before those get signed as well. Yeah, a little bit more than we expected. Unfortunately, based on conversations, we don't anticipate finding any lower bids if we tried to rebid this thing. So I think we're just going to have to move forward with it. So recommendation is to approve the shunt reactor purchase.
Questions?
Madam Chair?
Mr. Paulson.
So Travis, I'm curious how the bonding will work for this. Is there an escrow that gets paid to the contractor to begin production, and then a final payment when it's supplied here, and then does bonding occur somewhere in 2024 prior to the delivery?
Correct. Yeah. So if I remember right, I think it's 10% up front, and then I think 80% upon delivery, and then the final 10% upon commissioning of it. So normal conditions or normal terms, a little different than the transformer that we had to purchase a few months ago. From the bonding perspective of it, we've approved the bonding a few months ago, if I remember right, to start that process. I think we'll be going out for bonding early January of next year for this. So right now we're utilizing reserves to cover any costs between the start of that project and the bonding effort, so we can refund and then we'll be able to refund ourselves through that as well too. So that's how
Okay.
that works.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Yes, Mr. Hendrickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is one project. Do you see this in the future happening again?
You're talking the difference in the engineer's estimates? Yeah, Matt and I actually did talk about that, and we're going to request that the engineer provide updated pricing before we take these back or bring these to the commission for approval of the specifications. Now, we do have a bid that's out there currently, so I think Matt was working on getting some updated pricing so that you could, it would be a little bit more in line with what's going on in the market right now instead of being, a year and a half out of date.
And Travis, would you say that the biggest culprit is the supply chain issues?
From what we got, a lot of it is labor costs and material costs. That was the big thing that when we talked with Heiko, who's the parent low bidder. Yeah, and then some shipping costs as well too. We're part of that, but overall the biggest thing was labor and materials to build this equipment. So.
Yeah, it drives those projects up. Thank you very much.
Any other questions at this point? Okay, I entertain a motion to approve the bid award.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Paulson, seconded by McDougall, to award the bid for shunt reactors. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Paulson,
Aye.
McDougall,
Yes.
Hendrickson,
Yes.
Daly,
Yes.
Duran.
Yes,
Okay, great, thank you. Item number 10, resolution adopting Moorhead Public Service data practices policies.
Sure, I'll be handling this, and Manny's going to help answer questions if I'm not able to answer them. So back in August of 2020, about 2 years ago, we engaged Flaherty and Hood to help us with our data practices and data retention schedules. Commission at that point in time requested that we put policies and everything else in place and start that process. That's a long process. It has to go through several state entities to get approval of the schedule that we have. Staff also reviews it to make sure that everything that we're aware of is included in the retention schedule so that nothing gets missed. There are a couple items that we'll be going back to the state with because we do have a couple concerns with the cost of the retention of some of these things, the high data requirements, recording of video, things like that take a lot of storage to handle. So we're trying to see if we can reduce some of those things just because we do have a lot of cameras to watch our facilities and a lot of times there's nothing really going on there, but we still got to retain it. We're trying to limit how long we have to have that compared to what's in the retention schedule currently. So, but other than that, once this is approved tonight or the resolution is approved tonight, which appoints a responsible authority, which would be me, the policies and the schedule will also be put into place or enacted as well too. Once that happens, then we will, Flaherty and Hood will be coming up to train staff so they understand the pertinence of this and making sure that it's handled appropriately as well too. So from that, I'll open it up for any questions.
I thought you were going to read the whole thing.
That's a lot to read. So there is a lot there to attach. So if you wanted to review the schedule or if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out and discuss it. But yeah, State Historical Society. Who else, Mandy, reviewed some of that?
Be the state auditor's office, as well as
The sort of records disposition panel.
Attorney General's office.
Yeah. So it's a lengthy process to get that retention schedule approved and making sure that everybody's comfortable with what that is. And then staff took a second look at it after everything was finalized, and there was some concern on just from a cost prohibitive standpoint to doing it. So that's why we want to go back and see if there's a way we can slim down how long we got to retain certain things.
What's the burden on our staff in terms of person hours?
For,
Just the whole process of thinking about this, thinking about it and doing it. I mean,
it's going to be a change in direction of,
procedure and things? or-
yeah, I mean, we've had a pretty good procedure in place, but this just kind of solidifies and clears everything up, and everybody knows, okay, look at this retention schedule and understand it. The training will help with that, so they get it, they have a better understanding of how to handle it. You know, we have a data records management software already in place that's been in place for, you know, probably 10 years. Yeah, about 10 years or so. So it's just a matter of continuing on with what is already in place and making sure it fits Moorhead Public Service appropriately. Yeah, back to the question on staffing. You know, we are looking at a position to handle the records management piece full-time in-house as part of our class comp and org structure as well too. So there is probably a full-time FTE that will be incorporated into this as well too. I should say Mandy and Jerry and a few others that have looked at this, all the staff that has also looked at this, yeah, it's taken some time to go through it. Mandy's handled a lot of it up front and understanding what it is, and then communicates with me and Jerry and a few others to make sure it's correct. So again, thanks Mandy for all the additional work on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mandy. Any questions? Okay, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay. Motion by Duran, seconded by Daley to approve resolution adopting Moorhead Public Service data practices policies. Any further discussion? Okay. Daley,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
McDougal,
Yes.
Hendrickson. Okay, great, thank you. There's no need to close the meeting for executive session,
Good night, Madam Chair.
so we'll move on to reminder for upcoming meetings. August 16th is sooner than we expect to meet usually.
Correct, yep. MMUA has their summer conference, so it kind of got messed up between the schedule and stuff like that. We thought MMUA was going to be on the 16th. They moved it back a week, so we're just adjusting our schedule to the normal time this year instead of August 23rd. So we'll be meeting on the 16th, and then MMUA is on the 23rd, so, or the
Okay.
week of the 23rd.
Great. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Paulson, seconded by Daley to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you for coming. Have a great night.